Hello, welcome to another Alpha Striker We Play video. My name is Adam and this is my friend Tarron.
Hey buddy, how the hell are you?
I'm good.
Good stuff.
We're on the home stretch now.
We are.
This is the last video, well for now anyway, I don't know if we come across something else we might add to it, but this is the last video for direct fire autocannons and ballistics and stuff like that.
Yes, and we're doing one of my favourite things, which is the ammunition types.
Oh yeah. So we're gonna show you why the standard autocannon is still being used in the hemisphere because you've got options.
You can do funky crap with it. It's great. Yeah.
We'll start with a joint favourite of ours, which is the Caseless.
Oh yes.
Caseless ammunition.
So we're in TAC Ops, and it's 352 in my version. So you've got different autocannon munitions. Quick things. Okay, so most of the different types of ammunition will change the amount of ammunition you are allowed to have in a ton.
Yeah.
Okay, so bear that in mind when you are picking your ammo. They'll do funky things, and some of them will have funky rules, but almost all of them will modify the number of shots you get. And this is why we like Caseless.
Yeah. So basically, Caseless ammunition gives you twice the amount of shots per ton. Right, which is very handy for an AC-20, which is pretty light on the shots per ton, as you could expect.
Yeah, so you get 10 rather than 5, which is just really good.
So damage is the same, range and everything is the same.
Everything's
the same, all right? But the downside is, if you roll a 2, then you got a few little issues.
We've already established that this isn't something I'm going to be able to use because I roll 2s all the time.
2s.
And it's like an ultra ack. It takes it out for the whole scenario. The whole game, that weapon is down if you roll a 2. So you got to bear that in mind.
Yeah.
But having double ammo for an Act 20, I mean, getting 10 rounds instead of 5, that's
good.
That's good.
Yeah.
That is really good.
Yeah.
And you can take these as, I think you can take them only as caseless, which is unfortunate. So you've got at the bottom there, finally, because the feed mechanisms for caseless ammo replace those of standard autocannons, a weapon designated as firing caseless ammo cannot draw from any other alternative ammunition types. So you have to designate which autocannons are using the caseless ammo if you're going to use multiple types of ammo. So bear that in mind.
Yeah. But if you just want a sustainability on the battlefield, it's a really good option.
It's really good. It is really good. And if you're not rolling 2s all the time like me, then it's quality.
Yeah, so consider that. I think they're quite cool.
Yeah.
I like those.
You get something that's got multiple ACs on it, like your, was it the AC2 carrier or a blackjack or something like that. If you swap it out for caseless ammo, you can do some serious hurt for quite a long time. It's really good.
Yeah. What else have we got, Tarron? I think there was some Flechette stuff.
There's all sorts of funky stuff, buddy. Where would we like to start? Let's start with Flechette. We like hurting infantry.
Poor infantry. All the videos we talk about equipment used against them, they just don't stand a chance. Why would you bother?
Don't be infantry. Just walk out the back and shoot. That's it. It's done. So you apply the standard damage value of the autocannon to conventional infantry as though the attack were from an infantry unit. You half damage to all other units and round it down. And this damage is in addition to the doubling of damage against conventional infantry in a clear hex.
Yeah, so it's quite brutal.
Yeah,
it is quite brutal.
I think normally against infantry, let's say an Act 20. You fire an Act 20 against a group of infantry, you will do 20 points of damage to one dude.
Yeah.
Right? That's so that Act 20 is shooting one guy. Okay?
Because they're spaced out in the hex.
Yeah.
It is a big shell, yes. You know, but it's assumed that everyone's sort of
one
spread
shell.
out. It's a big 30-meter hex ring or something. So.
Yeah. So if you take the Flechette, it does the standard 20 against them, but it does it against the whole unit.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's much better because 20 will wipe out a unit almost.
In the open it will because you're doubling damage.
You double damage in the open. It's gone. You can, with an Act 20 firing Flechette ammo, you can wipe out a clear hex infantry unit. Wipe them out. Just gone. but they're not much use against anything else. So,
but they do use a lot of infantry. Like in the inner sphere, there's always regiment. We're talking regiments of infantry. Yep. So it is something worth considering if you're going to expand your games into that.
Yeah, and once you find out how well infantry do sometimes, they're worth having a stand or two usually, I reckon.
Yeah.
I reckon they're great. I'd have a little transport helicopter or something. I think the Warrior actually takes infantry.
Yeah, or the Karnov's probably the most common.
I think I've got a couple of Karnovs in my models. You take them, you put them at the back and take objectives with them or use them to spot for indirect fire or whatever, but they're useful.
Yeah.
But if you get them near something firing Flechette, they're dead.
Yeah, pretty much. But it's nice that you've got an enemy unit that's directing its fire and concentrating on something else rather than your more expensive BattleMechs or big tanks and things like that. So.
But if you're playing fairly high BV games against people that take a lot of infantry, then seriously consider swapping out a ton or so for Flechette ammo because it's well worth it.
Yeah,
you'll do a hell of a lot more damage. They will think twice before they get in clear hex with you. Seriously. If you want to do some more damage against mechs, though, what I would recommend is either armor piercing or let's look at armor piercing.
We'll look at armor piercing.
Armor piercing is really good because every time you successfully damage armor with an armor piercing round, you get to roll for a critical hit. I like it.
Yeah, just like that. If you hit, you get a critical chance.
You have to modify the dice roll though. Okay, so you modify your dice roll based on the size of the autocannon. So Act 2s get a -4.
Yeah.
Now you have to roll at least an 8.
Yeah, to get something.
To get anything.
Yeah.
Okay, so with an Act 2, you'd have to roll a 12, then take the 4 off just to get 1 critical. But it's still worth it.
Free critical chance.
Free critical chance.
Hard, yeah.
And it's scary. Act 5 gets a -3, Act 10 gets a -2, Act 20 gets a -1.
So the bigger the gun, the better your chance of getting in it, which makes sense.
Yeah. So the downside is you end up with armor piercing are harder to aim, so you get a +1 modifier to your 2 hit number.
Yeah.
All ranges. And you also carry half as many shots rounded down. So your Act 20, if we're going to go the Act 20 across the board here, your Act 20 you get a +1 to hit. If it hits, it gets an automatic critical chance with a -1 to the roll, but you only get to carry 2 rounds of ammo per ton.
Yeah. I think that's a tough one.
Yeah.
I mean, your AC 10 is probably the best choice because he's getting 5 shots per ton.
5 shots per ton with a -2 to the critical.
That's okay.
+1 to hit. I'd consider armor piercing for an Act 10 or maybe even an Act 5. I wouldn't bother with the Act 2 because you have to roll a 12 to get a critical. And the Act 10 you got, almost no ammo anymore. So yeah, a 10 or a 5, I'd consider it.
Yeah.
If you're having a game against people that take a lot of mechs and a lot of large, heavily armored mechs, if you've got a friend that takes 6 awesomes every time, then this stuff will make them think twice. It will. It really will.
Yeah.
It's not necessarily going to do anything, but it'll make them think twice, and that's important.
So if you're going up against a opponent that has a lot of ammunition bins, that's good too.
Yeah, because you've got that extra chance.
I mean, straight away, you've got an assault mech that might have lots of... What's a really, really heavy mech that's got a lot of ammo in it? I mean, there's the Archer, which is...
Archer's got a boatload,
It's got some in there. But yeah, if you go up against an Archer or whatever and you need to hit those torsos, you've got chances to go through there and get the ammo. You can take them out pretty quick. That's pretty cool.
And I mean, there's some thought to be put into the fact that the average roll is a torso, and most engine, gyro, all that sort of stuff, that all sits in the torsos. So it's kind of like a floating crit on the location chance, as long as you're rolling a torso or something like that. And I mean, hitting someone in the leg is still not a bad move. If you get a critical and you knock their hip out, boom.
Yeah.
That's great.
Because you won't be able to take a limb off because you've got that penalty on your dice roll. But,
you're not ever going to be able to remove a limb or get 3. Not even with the Act 20.
No.
But
that'd be way too powerful.
That'd be way too powerful.
Yeah.
They got to balance it out somehow. But yeah, that's. I reckon they're pretty cool. And like I say, I'd stick with the Act 10s and Act 5s. But go nuts. Why not? Enjoy.
So in one of our earlier videos, we talked about LBX autocannons.
Yes.
So these were autocannons. Their range is different from the standard autocannon, and it's designed to take a standard shell and a cluster shell. Okay.
Yep.
So it can't take any other special ammo. That was designed specifically for that, and it was really good at what it did.
Yep.
But you can get some ammunition to load into a standard autocannon that gives you similar stuff, similar capabilities.
Yeah.
So this is Flak autocannon ammo, and this is on page 352.
352 on TableTop, just under Caseless.
Yeah. So basically with that one, you get the same number of shots per ton, so it doesn't modify in that respect. If you're firing at VTOLs using there's rules for flak attacks. So basically, instead of it being a solid shell, it explodes out and does little explosions.
You watch the war movies where the bombers are flying over and there's those.
Yeah,
that's flak.
That's what it is. So it's designed to cover a large area and use the target's speed against it, essentially. For impact. All right, so it gives you bonuses for making those sorts of attacks, but it's not too crash-hotting into standard ground units.
No, it's basically half damage against everything else except normal infantry.
Yeah.
It's not really something that you would take unless you have that specific need, like somebody who takes a lot of VTOLs, a lot of aerospace units or conventional fighter type units.
As someone who has played games using and going up against VTOLs and actual aircraft and aerospace stuff, I can tell you right now, that's gold.
Yeah,
that is really good.
It's good stuff. So the flak attack, let's just cover that for a second here. So you have a specific flak attack. So when used against airborne aerospace units or VTOLs and wiggies, apply a -2 to hit modifier in addition to any other modifiers such weapons might convey. And then everything else goes normal. So you get that automatic -2. Now, the cluster ammunition in an LBX gives you an automatic -1 to everything. But you can make flak attacks with it, which means you also get the -2. So if you use cluster ammo for flak attacks, you've got a total -3.
With the LBX cannon.
With the LBX cannon.
Really nasty.
You can only use it in an LBX cannon. This flak ammo gives you the option to use that attack in another autocannon. So you don't have to have the LBX to do it. The LBX does it better.
Yeah.
But
but this is your standard autocannon with lots of options. We've got something for aircraft and VTOL and whatnot.
That's it. Yep.
And that's really good.
Yeah.
That's really good.
And you can, as a Merc unit, you can take this and you can say, okay, I've got this thing that's got half a dozen autocannons on it. They're all standard autocannons. I know I'm going up against lots of VTOLs and things. I haven't got the space or the time to swap out for LBXs. I'm just going to change the ammo in the bin and boom, you're
That's
done.
it. Yeah.
You've got basically the same thing, but you haven't done any extra stuff. You just bought different ammo. It's gold.
Yeah, it's really, really good.
Really good.
I do like that armor piercing ammo though. But it's like you said, it depends which gun you put it in.
Yeah.
It's quite good.
A lot of these are, you've got kind of the ups and downs. They did a really good job of balancing all of this stuff out really seriously. They've gone through and thought it all out. I mean, the flak ammo, you get the same number of shots per bin as standard stuff. It's gold. I love it. Let's go precision though.
Yes.
So for those people who take pesky, nasty, horrible, fast things.
Who's that?
No, nobody I know. So this is a really simple one. You get half as many shots, which is a downside. Okay, it's not good. But when firing precision ammunition, reduce the target movement modifier by 2 to a minimum of 0.
Oh,
Turns your autocannon into a pulse laser.
Essentially, but this is what's really good, because the inner sphere pulse lasers are kind of lame for range. The autocannons, their range is not affected. So that's really good. So here you go. You've got what an AC2 range. It was huge.
Oh, it's like
20, easily over 20. So you're getting a -2 bonus based on their movement. So if you've got a really fast unit that's moving at a longer range, you can still
24.
24. -2 up to 24.
Yeah, and that's -2 to the target movement modifier.
Yes.
So your locust or your VTOL or whatever it is moves along, does his thing, turns his dice to a number. When you fire with this stuff, you take 2 off that number. Okay, for the beginner people out there, and that's again, Merc unit. All you have to do is get something with a lot of autocannon stuff, like your AC2 carrier or a blackjack or something like that. Pay a little bit extra, reduce the number of shots you've got, and you have turned that into a pulse laser. It's brilliant.
That's wonderful.
It's brilliant.
That's really, really cool.
You round the ammo down. So instead of 45, you're getting what, 22?
I'd take that though. 22 shots?
Yeah. 22 shots.
That'd be worth it.
And most things that are heavy on autocannons will have at least a couple of tons.
Oh yeah.
Generally speaking. Like the AC2 carrier, I'm pretty sure has like 3 or 4 tons of ammo. I can't remember to be precise, but if you have 22 shots of something that does this, you're better off than having 45 shots of something that doesn't.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I mean, you look at what you're going up against, and you can, if you've got the mix and match, you can decide then and there. But those light mechs that get like a +3 or a +4 on your target numbers to hit them. No, don't like that. We'll get rid of that.
And again, it's what you know you're going up against. If you don't know what you're going up against, but you know the person that you're going up against, and you know they have a tendency to take light, fast stuff and move around back or whatever like that, then this stuff is worth looking into.
Yeah,
it really is. I like those. They're one of my favorites. Caseless
that seems to be a big winner.
I love it. I would probably never use it, but I love it. But this is, I would say, next in line.
So we played a lot of scenarios. Not a lot of them have been like weather conditions. We've played the odd one.
We haven't done much with environmentals, have we? Not yet. We will.
There are rules for night fighting, night combat, and also dusk, dawn, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
There is some ammunition that will help you with that. It's tracer rounds.
Yeah.
Now, tracer rounds do actually exist in today's modern stuff. You see them on the ships and all that sort of thing.
You see that white shot going out whenever there's a machine gun or something firing, that's tracer.
Yeah. So basically it allows you to see where your shots are going, and it reduces the penalty that night combat or dusk and dawn does for you. So dusk and dawn gives you a +1 penalty to hit. Night fighting is +2.
Yep.
So tracer rounds reduces both of those by -1. So dawn, dusk, you don't have any penalty with them.
So it's a fairly specific thing. I mean, you need to know that you're going to be in dusk, dawn, or at night. But it's you keep the same amount of ammunition. It does the same damage. It generates the same heat. It's all the same, but that modifier is reduced.
Actually, it does 1 less point of damage.
One less
point to a minimum of 1. So you're still going to do damage. So AC2 is still going to do at least 1 point of damage.
Yeah, so it does 1 less.
But to ignore penalties is always a bonus. I like that. Yeah. So I don't know. Night fighting could be cool. We haven't really. There's searchlights as well. There's equipment for searchlights. So if someone's in there, whichever arc it's mounted. You don't have that penalty when you're shooting at them.
And you don't have a penalty for shooting at someone with a searchlight on.
True, yeah.
Which is cool.
Because they're lit up like a Christmas tree.
There's this big searchlight going, I'll shoot at that end.
But it's quite handy. There's an additional ammo choice for autocannons. That's really cool. I like that.
And if you are mucking around with environmentals, like I say, we'll probably get into environmentals at some point. We've still got basic weaponry to cover yet. There's so much. We'll do environmentals at some point, and I would definitely like to do a night fighting thing. I was thinking maybe a small airless moon type thing that rotates really quickly. So every couple of turns it goes from day to night to day to night.
Oh my god,
that'd be cool.
We'd be thrown off it.
Yeah.
But still, yeah, because there are all these different scenarios and things like that you can try. Any sort of equipment that can help you with that is good.
It's quality. Absolute quality. I suppose we should really talk about targeting computers now, because we're moving away from direct fire next, aren't we? We're going to be doing missiles.
Yeah, there'll be some other things. So
yeah. So targeting computers can only really be used with DE or DB, which is direct fire energy and direct fire ballistic. You can't really use them with missile weapons. I think there's a couple of missile weapons that they help with, but not really.
It's more your direct fire stuff, which is what we've finished covering.
So basically what it does is anything that uses a targeting computer in its firing gets a -1 to hit, and the controlling player may use the targeting computer to attempt to attack a specific hit location on the active unit. Now, normally you can only do that if it's immobile.
Yeah.
So if it's shut down, or if the pilot's unconscious, they're the only two I can think of. Was there any more?
Yeah, no.
That's it. Okay, so if it's shut down or if the pilot's unconscious, then it's immobile and you get a -4 and you can do a targeted shot. But if you have a targeting computer, then you can do that straight away. You ignore the -1 standard to hit, so you don't get
the normal bonus it generates.
Right? You don't get the normal bonus it generates, but applies an additional +3 to the 2-hit modifier. So you use all the aim shot rules. You get a +3. They don't have to be immobile. If the target's if it's not immobile, you obviously don't get the -4 immobile. I don't know why they put that in there. That's obvious, but I suppose it's not technically obvious. You've got to make sure. You're not allowed to target a head with a targeting computer at all. And if using it to make an aim shot against the immobile target, apply an additional -1 modifier to the -4 and all other rules. But it means that you can target a leg on something that you know has damage to the leg, and if you're doing it with something like an Ultra AC well, you can't use an Ultra AC, but if you're doing it with an AC 20, then the ability to focus that 20 points of damage is pretty big.
Oh yeah.
It's not completely 100% guaranteed. You got minuses and pluses and all this other stuff that you got to go through for an aim shot. I think it's a 7+ you have to roll to actually hit the location you went for, and you've got modifiers to hit. But if you can do it, it's pretty good.
Yeah.
It's pretty good.
Most people just like the idea of, my weapons have an additional -1 bonus to hit.
That's what I like.
And your targeting computer will have a certain amount of tonnage and a certain amount of slots, depending on how many weapons you want to link into it.
Yeah.
All right. So just keep that in mind. It's gonna take up some resources, but it is quite good.
It's pretty good,
especially for clans. Oh my god.
Yeah. You can't use it with the hags, with the hyper assault Gauss rifles, so you can't use them. You can't use it if you're firing cluster ammo with an LBX.
Yeah.
And you can't use it with pulse or rapid fire unless you only fire one shot. And you can't fire just one shot with pulse. So if you're using a rapid fire weapon, you're only allowed to fire a single shot. But that -1 is, the lower I get my number, the better off I am.
What was that thing about pulse? Sorry.
Well, you can't only fire one shot with a pulse weapon, can you?
May not use a targeting computer to make an aimed shot.
Unless a rapid fire weapon is firing a single shot, in which case it can make an aim shot as described above. So the pulse weapons are, pulse lasers, you're always firing a pulse laser as a pulse laser.
Oh, that's true.
You can't say, I'm only firing one shot with this pulse laser. With the rapid fire weapons like the RAC and the Ultra, you can actually say, I'm only firing one shot.
Yeah.
And then you can use it to target, which is cool.
Yeah.
But that's, awesome.
See, the clans invented the targeting computer in the inner sphere. Of course, they just reverse engineered it. Obviously, theirs is a little bit heavier and whatever.
A little less well performing or whatever, but it's still a -1.
Another interesting fact about Clan Goliath Scorpion with their pilots, their mech warriors. Because they like doing their dueling so much, they remove a lot of technology or disable it.
Ah, yeah.
Because they want their skill and their accuracy to make the most. So if they have a mech that has weapon, like pulse laser is inherently a pulse laser, so that's what they use, that's fine. But if there's a targeting computer on the mech, they'll generally disengage it. Because they just want to duel. It's all about their skill. Well, those guys primarily trained the Wolves Dragoons, I think, because they wanted to, I mean, every clan sort of wanted a little bit of input to contribute to it, but they spent most of their time training with them, and it was pretty hardcore, I imagine. Interesting.
It would be.
They're all the clans are interesting, but yeah, targeting computers, I like them.
Yeah. Oh, there's quite a few clan mechs that I remember seeing that have targeting computer listed as a piece of equipment, and it's, I mean, yeah, I get why they would shut it down. It's like a use the force Luke sort of thing.
Kind of thing,
Use your skill, don't use your electronics to do the thing, but
well,
when it comes to the game, I need every second. Every modifier I can get, I need.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah, that's fair enough. But what would they know anyway? They got that necrosia stuff. They go on these little trips to find old technology and whatever. That's their thing. It's all linked in with that. You should read up on them. They're kind of cool.
I will. Yeah. I'll have to.
You should all read up on them. They are very cool.
Do it. Go on. Stop watching us and go and do something.
So I think that's it. We've covered quite a bit there.
I think that's pretty much all of the ammo types that we have for autocannons. There's a lot of other ammo types, and once we get to missiles, you're going to see me start to drool a little bit, and there's nothing I can do about that. All right, just relax.
That's it.
Yeah.
All right.
Good.
Yeah. So if you enjoyed this video, consider subscribing and just click that little notification thing as well. So whenever a video comes in, you'll be the first to see it. But that's it. I think we're done.
All good.
All right. Thank you.
Bye, guys.